Hi everyone, welcome to my video going over the questions from quiz 2. It's going to be pretty much like the video for quiz 1. In fact, these are actually from the same standard, 7EE1. So these are very much related questions. You may notice before we were doing combining like terms, distributing, rearranging, all that kind of stuff. Now we're going to focus a lot on factoring. It's also going to involve distributing, but much heavier focus on factoring in this quiz. So let's just jump right into it because I do not want to waste your time. This is the answer key. As I said, we focus a lot on 7EE1, entirely, a lot, in this quiz on 7EE1. First of all, for something number one, there's kind of two ways to solve it. The best way to solve it, though, is to actually factor yourself. You could try and see what each of these equals, but if you do it out, you'll actually find that both A, well, two of them equal this answer. All right, so let's actually factor that out. Remember, the way we factor it out is we find the GCF, then we divide it from both terms, and we put that outside parentheses. So for the GCF, I got to break down the terms. 21E is the same as 7 times 3 times E. All right, I find it easiest to break them down like this instead of prime factors. So primes are like numbers that can only be divided by 1 and itself. So like 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 17, 13. Those are all primes. 9 is not, it can be divided by 3. 4 is not, it can be divided by 2. Anything that's even is not a prime beyond 2. All right, so then outside of 35, you know your times tables is 7 times 5. All right, so what do they have in common? That's the GCF. Well, they both have a 7. My GCF is 7. So 21E divided by 7. Well, 21 divided by 7 is 3. Left with 3E. Positive 35 divided by 7. 35 divided by 7 is 5. So left with plus 5. So that must be 7 times 3E plus 5. All right, so which answer is that? That's D. Again, if we did it out, we'd see that both A and D actually equal this, or actually equal this. But in factored form, that's when you have a number outside parentheses. So A is not in factored form. You don't have a number outside like sum in parentheses. Okay, you just have an equivalent expression. All right, number 2, factor the expression completely. Again, looking for GCF. Let's break these down. 16x equal y and 32. 16x, well, 16 is 4 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. So that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times x. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times x. Again, 2 times 2 would be 4, times 2 would be 8, times 2 would be 16, times x would be 16x. All right, well, 64 is also related because 64 is 4 times 16. Oh, so that 4 is again just 2 times 2. So I must just have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times y. Now, if you don't know that 64 is 4 times 16, which I don't expect a lot of you to know, I know it's a pretty high times table. That's okay. Even if you don't know that off the top of your head, you'll know that it can be divided by 2 every time. If you just keep breaking it down. Okay, 64 is an even number. If you divide by 2, 64 divided by 2 is 32. Okay, so 2 times, okay, 32 is an even number. It can be divided by 2. So that's 2 times 16. So 2 times 2 times 16. Well, 16 can be divided by 2. So that's 2 times 8. So it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 8. And I'll be writing this down as you're doing it. Just keep track of it. So that's the way to break it down. So thinking about 32. 32 can be divided by 2. It's 2 times 16. Well, 16 is just 2 times 8. And 8 is just 2 times 4, which itself is just 2 times 2. All right, so what do they have in common? They all have 1, 2, 3, 4 2's in common. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my GCF must be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. But GCF is 16. Awesome. So I know I'm going to have 16 outside my parentheses. Now let's divide them out. 16x divided by 16. Well, 16 divided by 16 is 1x, or just x. Cos of 64y divided by 16. We said 64 divided by 16 is 4. Or again, you can look over here, what is left. Most of the time, you just look at what's left. Oh, look, that's 2 times 2 times y. All right, so that's plus 4y. All right, now I have minus 32. Don't forget these signs here. The reason why I include signs is like don't forget to put them in parentheses. A lot of times you forget to put them in parentheses otherwise. Oh, some of my halves are fun too. X plus 4y divided by 16. Well, that's just -2 minus 2. Some of the most common mistakes here, only factoring out 8 or 4, not 16. Okay, was that decided the whole time? I'm sorry, guys. That's been so confusing to look at. All right, well, you heard my explanation. I'm sure you can read a little bit. Here, I'll leave it. You can pause it here. I'll leave it here now so you can actually copy it down. I don't necessarily expect you to do this out every time. I'd love it if you could. You can see I'm doing it out every time, but I know that's a lot of effort. Please try to make sure that you go through every time, make sure that whatever's left in parentheses cannot be divided by anything anymore. If it can still be divided by something, like each number, then you got to take that out still. You still have not gotten the GCF yet. All right, number 3. Number 3 is a bit of a tricky one. It seems very straightforward, but when you're doing number 3 or any question like number 3, do each of the answers out. Always do each of the answers out. And always draw your arrows. I'm also going to always, okay, I can turn my body a little bit. I'm also always going to make sure that I write my multiplication out. So 15 times t plus 15 times 2v. 15 times 2t plus 15 times v. 15 times 0.1t plus 15 times 0.2v. 15 times 0.2t plus 15 times 0.1v. All right, 15 times t is just 15t. 15 times 2v is just 30v. Absolutely not. There's no decimal in it, and they switch them around. In this case, I'll get 30t plus 15v. All right, so now the numbers, even though they're in the wrong order, look like they're the right ones, except this isn't a decimal. Now this would be 1.5t plus 3v. That looks right. We got 1.5. Oh, but it's 1.5t, not 1.5v. Be very careful. Most of you, when you're getting this wrong, you're going to select C because you're going to forget that or not realize that this is t and it should be v. Be very, very careful about what variables are where. Okay. Sometimes I don't love questions like this because they purposely try to trick you. But that's how a lot of these questions are, how a lot of state test questions are too. Please be very careful with that. If we do this last one out, just do it out, we get, oh, shoot, it's not even that one. Sorry, right, I was saying you get that one, you incorrectly choose that one, which is almost like a mistake. But here we get 3t plus 1.5v, which, remember, community property tells us you can rewrite it as 1.5v plus 3t, so that's the same thing, first d. So be careful here. A lot of you are going to incorrectly get d, right? Just make sure you're doing each one out and paying attention to which coefficient is with which variable. All right, last question. This is a quick one. This whole quiz. All right, so number 4 here. Oh, you can't even see it there. All right, so here again we have a problem that involves distributing a negative. Just like we had a lot of on our first quiz. That is because most of us struggle with this, and most of the problems I noticed when we were doing this one, you didn't distribute -6 to the second number, or second term. So please always draw your arrows We should write it out. Negative 6 times b plus negative 6 times 2 plus 8 be negative 6b plus negative 12 plus 8. Negative 12 plus 8 would be negative 4, and negative 6b plus negative 4 would just be negative 6b minus 4, and that is our answer. All right, be careful. Again, the most common wrong answer was A, because you wouldn't distribute the negative 6 to the second number. You just get negative 6b plus 2 plus 8, which would be negative 6b plus 10. Easy mistake to make, but you gotta really try your best to avoid that. All right, well, that's it for quiz 2. Let me know if there's anything I didn't go over, or you thought I was wrong about, or you have any questions about. I'll be happy to help. But otherwise, good luck studying and have a great rest of your day, everyone.